Proportion application. Before solving a proportion, you're going to write out the fractions that are being compared. Each denominator, or the bottom number, will represent the same unit of measurement, and then each numerator will represent the same unit of measurement. And then when plugging the information into these proportions, we need to keep the same ratios. So let's look at an example to see how we can solve for this. Example 1. A job requires 8 pieces of angle iron that is 6 inches long, so 50 inches in total length to include the curve. If another similar job requires 14 pieces of angle iron that is 6 inches long, what is the total length of angle iron needed for the job? So for this, we're going to set up this proportion problem. So we can see that we have 8 pieces that would be 50 inches long. So we can go ahead and write, we can either go 8 pieces over 50, or we could put 50 over 8, either one. But we just have to be consistent across. So since we put 8 pieces on the top and 50 inches on the bottom, what we're looking for is how, if another similar job is 14 pieces, what is the total length of the angle iron needed? So what we're solving for then is the length on the bottom, which is r, now x. So then we can go ahead and solve for this proportion. Right, and so we can cross multiply these, and then we can cross multiply these. So 8 times x is just 8x, which is equal to then 14 times 50. And we get 700. Then in order to solve for x, we just go ahead and divide by 8 on both sides. So x becomes 700 divided by 8, and we get 87.5. And this is in inches. So that would be our total length. So that is how we could solve this problem using proportions. Now let's look at another example. Example 2. A MIG used a 33-pound spool of wire. If the spool lasted for 14.5 hours with the melt-off that's about 2.28 pounds per hour, how many hours will a 250-pound drum last? So we can solve this problem using proportions. And so how we can do this is we have a 33-pound spool of wire. And then it lasted for 14.5 hours. Now the question is, how many hours will a 250-pound drum last? So we have 250 pounds. So that will go on the top because we want to keep the same unit in the numerator and then the same unit in the denominator. So for the denominator is hours, and we're asking for how many hours, so that would be our unknown. So we'll just put x there. And then we go ahead and we can cross multiply. And we can solve this way. So 33 times x is just 33x. And then we have 14.5 times 250. And we get 3,625. Then we go ahead and then just divide by 33 on both sides to get x by itself. And we get 109.85. As we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So this is hours. So it will last almost 110 hours.